My name is Hector Picard. I'm age 44 and I'm from Miami. I started doing triathlons back on July 4th of 2009, and it was just something to do. I noticed how people were perceiving me competing in these triathlons, and I got an idea why don't I bring attention to the physically challenged and compete in these things? Because my approach is not only to compete and finish these races, I want to win. So in most of these races, I was ending up beating a third of the racers in it, the athletes in it. So I felt I could get stronger with good training. The race was a great race. It's held every year. I believe it's been about 7 or 8 years, and it's a great race. It's what they call a half iron, or it's a swim of 1.2 miles, and bicycle 56 miles, and then running 13.1 miles. And it had been my second time I had been at that event, but it was only my second half iron. It was a great event, great organizers, multirace.com are great people, and I enjoyed the event immensely. My goal in every sport that I compete in is to not have too many modifications. I want to compete at an equal level, which is impossible for me. It's never going to be equal to anybody else. That's fully capable. But basketball, I came up with the device several years ago where I'll play regular one-on-one or 5-on-5 full court games with no difference. I can shoot anywhere from 50 to 60% from the court. As far as the swimming for the triathlons was probably the hardest thing for me to do, with the fact that I don't have the arms. I have to rely on my legs, and then I have to rely on my legs for the biking and the running. So I'm at a disadvantage, but I've been able to do some special things there as well. So I was working on a substation transformer, and from what I was told, because I don't remember any of this, I walked between two transformers, and one of them was on, one of them was off. Went up the transformer that was on and got hit with 13,000 volts of electricity twice, and fell about 2 stories and received second and third degree burns over 40% of my body. I probably had about 7 major surgeries to amputate, and skin grafts too, because my torso was exposed, so they had to pull skin from my legs in order to cover the burns. I went back home. From Gainesville I came down to Miami, and then ended up moving to Broward County to a place called Sunrise Rehabilitation Center. I was only the second patient there that was a double arm amputee, so they were learning with me as well, and they were teaching me how to do things that I was able to do before, hygiene, cooking, eating, driving. They taught me everything.
My name is Wendy Marquardt Picard, and I'm married to Hector Picard. We've been married for 4 months.
Wendy is a incredible person. She makes me feel, just brings me confident. I thought I was confident before, but this lady just makes me feel really, really good, and supports me in everything I do, and encourages me. She encourages me to do more.
We had dated for a while, for a couple of months before I introduced him to the children. I wanted to make sure that this was a guy that I was serious about, and even though I knew from the moment I met him that I was going to be with him and probably marry him, even though he's probably going to be surprised to hear that. But I wanted the children to understand, and my children, they're very they're amazing. They're very adaptable, and they're very kind, and they just started. They immediately when they met him, they stared at his hand. We had already had discussions about what happened to him, and they absorbed that information. So my daughter, just started asking him questions about the accident and the volts of electricity and how he felt, and was he okay now, and there was a genuine concern with how he was doing that very moment.
He carried on with his life, and he knew that he had a daughter, which is my oldest sister right now, and he knew that he had a wife and that he had to move on with his life.
My son was amazed that he could actually turn his prosthesis hand around 360, and he kept asking him to do that.
Hector has an arm, and he puts his hand on it, which opens and closes. And when I first met him, he turned his hand all the way around. And I was like, ah!
When he said on our first date, he said, "Oh yeah, I just started doing triathlons." And when I hear I just started competing, I think it's just something that people would do for fun. So I didn't want him to know that I didn't know exactly what a triathlon was and what it encompasses. So I waited until I got home and I looked it up, and I thought, I can't even jog down the street and here this guy is. He's competing on a very high level, and he's enjoying it. It's not anything that he's doing that he says, I don't really like this, but I'm doing it to get notoriety. It wasn't like that at all. He thoroughly enjoyed it. He knew at that point that he really wanted to be a spokesperson for anyone that had physical obstacles, and he had a mission that he wanted to do that for to be a spokesperson.
I started doing some public speaking at elementary schools when my daughters were in school years ago, and I liked it. So I started from there. I worked on to doing occupational therapists and physical therapists at the local colleges. I did something at FIU, FAU, Nova Southeast, Kaiser College. Every so often I get a public speaking over there. When I went to the Bahamas, I spoke at a school for children with special needs, and that I really got a lot out of that. Went in there to try to motivate them. The purpose was to motivate them. I ended up being motivated by these kids. And my goal is to speak at these triathlons next year.
He was given a second chance at life because he is that spokesperson. You think 365 days a year for 20 years, and how many thousands of people that have seen him walking through a mall, a supermarket, at work. And he may have passed someone that has had they thought they had such a miserable life. Maybe that person was in a supermarket getting their last meal because they were contemplating suicide. You just never know. And they look at someone like Hector, and he's happy and doing everything that he wants to do, and they go, geez, my life isn't so bad. Who am I? So I think it's not just the triathlon message that he's out there as a competitor, as an athlete, but it's an everyday thing for him. He's a spokesperson for anybody that, even me, that I can go and I can run. I always said, I can't run, I can't jog, I can't do this, but yeah, I can do it. I'm fully capable of doing it. So, for someone like the children and any athlete, the message is always the same, that you can do whatever you want to do.
Well, the message is don't look at me as anything special. I'm a regular guy, and I always make a comment when I tell them, when you see me in the back and during the race, well, hurry up because I'm going to pass you up. But I want to tell people that just because I lost my arms doesn't mean I don't have that same drive and that competitive feeling that those other individuals have. I go out there to give it my best and live my life to the fullest. And we all have obstacles of different degrees. Some of us are either born with it or we suffer accidents, but most of us create these obstacles in our mind or let others do it for us. It's just an obstacle is meant to be overcome. A barrier or blockade is you're stopped. Don't let those obstacles be a blockade or a barrier. Just go ahead, overcome them. In my case, I'm going to go over it, through it, or around it, but I'm going to get to the other side and reach my goals. If I don't live my life, nobody's going to live it for me. And so I'm going to go out there and experience everything I can. I still have plans on traveling, and now I'm helping my wife raise 2 small children. So there's a lifetime of experiences ahead of me.